Well, hey everybody, welcome back. If you're still with us, we appreciate it. Hopefully you're still getting stuff out of me and Eric here sitting and talking, going through this stuff. Today we want to kind of talk about a topic that Eric coined a phrase, destination
Happiness.
And we'll get into we'll define it, kind of kick it around. I think it's really prevalent in the fire service for sure. But it was sparked from a statement you made at the end of our last podcast, which was when we were kind of talking about answering questions people had given us about their daily struggles of how do you do these things, and they kind of looking for answers, and it's kind of like, well, there is no singular answer, there's no magic pill, there's no, hey, always do this, here's the 10 step. It doesn't work like that. Like every day is different, and so we really tried to just talk about our own struggles that we have daily, even though we have all these tools. We've been working hard. We take it serious every single day. We look forward to being able to tackle the different obstacles. But life throws stuff at you, and you just kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
And towards the end of the podcast, Eric had mentioned about having a mindset of looking forward to the feeling of the accomplishment. And so, as he was speaking, I was thinking in my head, like, yeah, that is so. It's such a great description of my mindset all the time when whatever I'm taking on, which is usually a lot. I'm gonna foot on the gas till the finish line, and I'm gonna try to produce a perfect product, whatever that looks like, and whatever I'm trying to do. Not that it's always perfect, but I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm gonna be full steam ahead, and it's gonna consume me. And I'm going to be so driven that I'm going to start to neglect other parts of my life, things like spending time with my wife, have a meal, drink enough water for the day. These little daily things that you have to do in order to keep up your path, your momentum, your own mental balance, your sanity. Yeah. And so we started talking about it, and I told you that I struggle with that all the time. Mm-hmm. It's a huge problem for me, is to understand that when I set my sights on something, when I set a goal, when I decide to tackle a project, when I decide to take on extra work at my job, anything that I decide to pour my energy into, there will be something at the finish line of that. We talked earlier about the infinite problem of there is no finish line for the daily struggles, mental health challenges, just life in general. There is no inline, But when you're talking about accomplishing a goal, there is. And what happens? What happens when you finish that marathon and you crash through that ribbon like in the movie, and you throw your arms up and yay, you made it, and cool, now what? Here's your trophy, here's your photo. See ya.
Yeah. What's the deeper reason?
What's next? And
exactly.
I know for me, I am constantly left underwhelmed at the result of at the finish line. Yeah. I build things up in my head as to like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I do things, I do really follow through most of the time. Oh, yeah. And accomplish the things I set out to. Sometimes even more so than I thought I was going to.
For sure.
But still, I don't allow myself to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I don't allow myself to take pride in it. Yep. I don't even allow others to praise me, congratulate me, hey, great job. Yeah, I get, it's not perfect. This could be better. I screwed this part of it up. I tend to just immediately go into the negative of said project, goal, work thing, you name it, right? And as I told you that in the car, you told me, you said, yeah, man, that's destination happiness.
Happiness. And there's other terms, but that's a term that I've just come to, learn from what some doctors have told me, and it's just one of those things of, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy once I have the relationship. I'll be happy once I have the job. I'll be happy once this task is done. I'll be happy when. And in reality, I think the majority of us, and particularly firemen, we are goal-oriented. We are task-driven, and the majority of the time, when we say we're going to do something, we're going to accomplish it. Yeah. But what happens in that process is there's a lot of growth. I feel like that we don't slow down enough to really realize, wow, I have learned this. You have reached your goal or your destination. That's all great stuff, And there's a movie out. We were talking about this in the truck, and it's called The Weight of Gold. And it's about mental health and in the Olympics and stuff like that with these pro athletes. And once they get their gold medal, and they've trained, they've done everything for years to get that medal, that prize, that whatever it is, in that magazine or whatever. Once they get it, it's like, what's next? Some commit suicide because they've reached it, and you're like, wow, the mindset is, if your why isn't deep enough of why you're doing something and you're trying to reach these things, which it's all great, but if you're doing it from a place of lack, I feel like you're never going to feel whole, and how do we know if that's what we're truly doing? If we have to attain something to be happy, from my personal experience, there's something in there we feel like we're missing. We should be happy with ourselves, in my opinion, right? It sounds so cliche. Oh, be happy with yourself, be happy with nothing, whatever. But that is true. It's cliche. But as you're trying to accomplish your goals, once again, it's enjoy that journey, enjoy that growth, enjoy the failures, enjoy getting back up, and knowing that once you reach that, we already know we're going to want to go to the next thing. That's healthy. That's good. That's really good. Once you reach a goal, okay, cool. I'm done. I'm going to put my feet up, and I'm not going to do anything else in my life. Okay, once you go to the gym, maybe you're fat, overweight, or you're skinnier and you want to put on some muscle or whatever. You reach that. Okay, cool. I'm not going to go to the gym anymore. I reached that goal. My diet's good. There's always something to work on. That's healthy. But if you're only going to be happy and think you're going to be happy once you attain that, then you're just going to be let down pretty much your whole life. Yeah. You're going to always be striving for something better, which striving for something better is good, but it's enjoying that process to that and continuing to grow and then going for the next thing. And there's so many podcasts I listen to. It's like, there's, once you get to the top of the mountain, you got to train for the next, You get to that peak, you train for the next peak. But enjoy that climb and enjoy that peak. Enjoy that, like, holy crap, as I'm here at your house, you built, this whole wood, recessed frame for your TV and, center. And right away, I was like, dude, that's pretty sick. Like you said, what did you say? This isn't done, that isn't done. And you start just critiquing yourself. I'm like, dude, this looks legit. It's like, and you're getting, you're a handyman, but you are doing more stuff with woodworking and, you're learning as you go. And that's the cool part. Yeah. That's what we should enjoy. And then you get done, your end product, heck yeah, okay, cool. You know what? I'm going to enjoy this for a day or whatever. Sit back and enjoy my hard work. And then we'll go to the next thing too. That's hard to do though.
No, and I did. I mean, that's exactly why I liked what you said earlier, calling it the destination happiness, because I've been guilty of that for 2 decades minimum. I mean, maybe more. Yeah. Because I've always, what's next? What's the next mountain? That last one wasn't high enough. And so, what other challenges can I put myself into to push the limits and things like that? And I recently went, so one of my good friends here, he planned out this roughly 30-mile hike that was up in the Eastern Sierras, and I he hit me up about maybe a month, 6 weeks ago, said, hey, do you want to go? And I haven't been on a multi-day backpacking trip in the high mountains for like 15 years, I think. It's probably been, I think we were talking the other day, I'm 45 right now. I think I was like late 20s, early 30s when I last was even above 10,000 feet at elevation in a mountain where I hiked up there, and I used to love it. I used to do a lot more. And anyways, he invited me to go. He'd already planned this out. Originally, he was going to do a solo hike. And I said, yeah, man, that sounds great. So we took off and, got up 3 a.m, drove all the way up to a buddy's house who lives up nearby here. He's kind of in a rural area. He got up 5 a.m., drives us up almost 3-hour drive to get up to this lake that's way up in the mountains. And we have a breakfast, and then we jump on this little pontoon boat they call a ferry, and it ferries us across this lake and drops us at the trailhead, and away we go. So, I mean, 3 a.m. was the start time of that. So the trek to get up there took every bit of about 6 hours. And then now we're on foot. We did 9.5 miles the first day. I mean, we put foot on the gas, and we were stomping through it. But I really tried hard multiple times to stop on the trail and just look out. Look out on the valley, the meadow, the mountain, the granite. I took probably 100+ pictures over the course of 3 days. I don't usually do that. My buddy and him and I talked about it on the trail. He's also like me. He's usually like mission oriented, and I think he's better about being present and enjoying things for the moment. But I think he also at the same time struggles at times, like I do, where he just gets super laser focused on the goal, the mission. So, we're nerds. We have the maps. We have the GPS. We have everything dialed in. We have, Camp 1 planned out. The alternate camp plan. Yeah,
that's what you should do.
Absolutely, but you can't get drowned in the details.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, is that it's easy for us to constantly say, oh, no, you have to do this. It's like, no, I agree. That's why we're alive. It's why we survived the trail. We didn't get lost. We're not. But there was nothing wrong with multiple times stopping on the trail. Yeah. At random intervals. I mean, not only for our asses to catch our breath, but,
to enjoy. It's that old saying, stop and smell the roses.
Dude, and that was it. I mean, it was literally multiple times that I probably in the past would never have seen those views. And I even in my head tried to, kind of like make a mental note, like try to remember the details. Yeah. Because I remember I told you before, like prior to the SGB shot, man, I could go scuba diving in some of the most beautiful places in the world. And I can't tell you the color of the fish. I can't tell you how, these little nuanced details that I've got a sharp eye. I see everything. My wife laughs because I can't see shit right now with my bad eyes, but underwater, man, I'm like laser. Yeah. And she said, she's like, oh, you see everything underwater? And I'm like, yeah, but I just don't really remember it, Yeah. And so now, I mean, I'm about a week out of this hike, 30 miles, 2 major passes, snow crossings, going into Mammoth. Pretty cool hike, man. It was, pretty neat deal that he planned out, and a cool experience to hang out with one of my oldest friends. Yeah. And do that together, and then hang out in Mammoth. But see, now to the point of the destination happiness, right? The destination was Mammoth. So we did our 30 miles, and when we arrived, it's funny because there's that lull. There's that, okay, now we're at the hotel. Yep. Now what do we do? Yeah. So what does old Shane do? Well, let's go to the bar. Because, hey, we're in fucking Mammoth. Let's go get some beers. Yeah. Let's relax, right? Yeah. Sometimes that turns into a fun night. Sometimes it turns into I don't remember the night. Sometimes it turns into let's have 2 beers and go back to the hotel early and rack out because we're tired. Yeah. So this time it was, hey, let's just walk around and be tourists. Let's look at shops. Let's putz around.
That's so cute, dude.
Yeah, I did. It was it was weird, man. Like it was we hung out at the hotel. We chilled out, the first day, because we were both, we stomped. Oh yeah, a pretty decent distance. Yeah. And so we kind of chilled out, racked out for a bit, and then had an awesome dinner. Went out that night, found a cool little sports place, and my buddy had a drink. And we got like a pizza, and we just shot the shit, watched UFC. But it was cool, man, because I just was like present at the restaurant, and that was plenty for me. And in the morning, got up early. Go get coffee and breakfast, and was like, okay, what's next? No, and then he'd been up there a lot. I haven't, so he told me about the gondolas and going up to the top of the Mammoth Mountain. Said, yeah, dude, I'm down. Let's do it. Yeah. So, but we weren't in a rush. It wasn't like we had to jam the entire day so full that there was no time to just sit, and chill. So it was like after breakfast, back to the hotel, chill out, get cleaned up, take a little walk. Go to the bus station. It was cool. And that was not stuff that I did before. Yeah, yeah. How did you feel? So
just explain.
No,
did you feel like not productive at first?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you feel like, wow, I need to be doing something, like getting antsy? This
Why am I in a hotel room? Yeah. In this beautiful little Mammoth Lakes when we should be out there cramming every second full of life, right?
Yes. Yep, exactly.
And my buddy is he's not a couch potato. He doesn't just sit there. He's a guy that's constantly on the go. His family, his little kids have traveled the world. They've done amazing stuff. They hike all the time.
Okay.
And but he's got that balance where he gets it that, hey, it's okay. We can chill for a while, and then we'll get there, and the mountain will still be there, and it's all going to work out. And we're going to spend 3 hours, because we cruised way up there, and then he walked around on the peak and the summit with me and kind of explained some of what he knew about the area. We were able to, it was really cool, dude. Like, we were able to, from the summit, almost trace our route across these passes because Mammoth is higher. And that was kind of a unique perspective to sort of reflect on the route that we went through. Whereas before, I've sailed across an ocean by myself. And, from the time that the boat hit the dock and I tied the boat off, I never looked back. I never even thought about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Occasionally I'll look at a globe or something and I'll see an ocean and I'm like, oh, I crossed that in a boat. And it's just a fleeting thought. I don't actually sit there and think of the magnitude of like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure.
And take a little bit of pride in it, or even a moment to enjoy it. So I think that that's something in the fire service that is very prevalent. You said it in the truck. And I don't know what the answer is in terms, I don't know if that goes away, because I do think it's healthy and good to, what is next? What's my next challenge?
Yeah.
But enjoy it, man. Enjoy the win. Enjoy the moment, and enjoy the loss if you lose. As weird as that sounds, it's like sometimes you swing and you miss.
Yeah.
And you sit down and you go, okay, well, how do I get back up off the can? Whatever analogy you want to use, but rather than just rush headlong back into the next thing, like when you're talking about like the media wall I built, it's like, I told you I've intentionally not finished the last little part of it, because it's like a splinter in my brain.
Yeah, for sure.
And while I was building that thing, in the midst of working hard at paying attention to my thoughts, being mindful, getting in the sauna, eating well, drinking lots of water, that fucking puppies and ice cream, and I'm trying, man, but it's just still like, I'm still an intense guy that is driven and is I'm a fireman at heart, I'm task driven, I'm solution and results oriented. So we talked about this in one of the other podcasts about, most of our calls have a beginning, middle, and end. Yeah. So when we go away from what is chaotic for someone, there's a solution. It's done. It's wrapped up. Here's a bow. We're out of here. Yeah. So, dude, I was waking up in the middle of the night during this project, and I was coming down here and like drawing on the wall and marking measurements because I had forgotten something or thought I had like I could do something over, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just like waking up out of a dead sleep. And so I think it's interesting that you call it destination happiness, and I know you looked it up as a different name. What did you call that one? The fallacy. Arrival fallacy.
Yes,
once I get there, fallacy, the lie is that when I arrive, all is well. Yep. And I think that that's another interesting thing, because if you hear this and you're only hearing the part about climbing a mountain or sailing on a boat, it's like, we all do this in this country because of marketing, advertising. We are conditioned from very young ages to want the next greatest thing, the next best thing, upgrade, get the new phone, get the new car. I was just telling you, in my truck, I have a nice vehicle, and and here I am thinking about, I might get a Tesla, it makes more sense, and it doesn't, there are reasons, sure, but there are reasons to do everything. You can talk yourself into anything, and it's just like, I don't owe anything on the vehicle. I don't even drive it all that much. It's like, do I really need it? That's a different animal, but it's so easy to justify whatever it is in your mind you think, and part of that is that allure of that next shiny thing, that next destination. Because I'm here, I arrived, and the arrival fallacy hit again, where, oh yeah, well, it's not what I wanted, it's not good enough, what's next? Yeah, for sure. And, that is just not, like, to have that constant tug and to assign your fulfillment to, the accomplishment of a singular goal or destination, you're going to be disappointed every time. Exactly.
So what's the cure? Enjoy the journey. Enjoy that path, enjoy that process. And you said it, it's going to suck, how bad this sounds, but enjoy the failure. It's like, well, if you never fail, there's always opinions about it, but if you're always winning, what are you learning? learning how to win all the time. Failure, whatever you want to call it, failure, you want to call it falling down, whatever term you want to use. But when you don't accomplish something maybe the first time, second time, third time, maybe it takes you a while to accomplish it, that whole process you're growing. And failure, it's like in sports, where do we as, you with jiu-jitsu, one big thing with jiu-jitsu is you're not going to win every fight, right? Where do you learn the most?
Yeah, in your losses, that's where
right?
Always.
That's how life is.
Yep.
And if we're going through this destination thing, once I get the job, or once I get married, or once I recover from this, it'll all be good. There is. I can look at my situation, with this PTSD thing. I've overcome so much in the past few years, and in my mind, once I get back to work and I no longer have PTSD, I'll be happy. Then I run calls and it's like, I'm back to square one again. Even though you put all this work in, once I finish the program, I've done this, I've done that. Oh, you know what? Okay, well, I go back to the doctors. It's like, oh gosh, you know what? They tried to give me retirement. I turned that down because I wanted to get back to work, right? Man, maybe that was the right decision. Okay, in my mind, you know what? I should have listened. They were right. I was wrong. Once I get this retirement, I could heal, and I'll be that much happier. I was wrong. There's another thing that pops above, your dignity, what's your identity, purpose, your purpose, fulfillment. And so what I've learned through all this, it doesn't matter. You can have all the right intentions, but life is just challenging. Life is just about really, I think, we talked about this, yesterday. You can have this plan. Look at selling again. You could have your plan, right? I'm going to go to this island. I'm going to, sell from here, from AB, whatever, wherever you're going. But the wind shifts, and you're like, dude, you can be 300 feet away from your destination, but dude, that wind ain't taking you there. And depending on what motor you have, it ain't going to get you there either. So you got to go all the way around, do this, retrack. That's how it is. That was a great analogy I never even thought about with the sailboat. Is you can see your end, so you're like, I feel like I can touch it. But no, you can't, because the wind is saying something else. Life is saying something else. Your family's saying something else. Work is saying something else. You got to take a little detour sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Which is okay. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, you want to lay down on the deck and roll up and cry and punch something and, just throw a tantrum like a little kid in the bed, right?
Yeah.
I've had many of those times. So, yeah. No, and I think it's like if you relate it in the fire service to, we talked about this in a podcast previously about the guys that I said are running towards retirement.
Yeah.
And it's like guys that aren't even short timers, but, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Like, that's not a long time, but it's not like it's next month.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, hey, bro, enjoy these last 5 years because they're going to go fast.
Real fast.
Then you're going to miss this.
Yep.
And the tough guy thing, fuck this, I'm not going to miss anything about this place. And it's like, well, okay. And I think in some instances that's true. I think it's more rare. I think most people who leave the job, retire, have, at least some nostalgic memories. They do miss the camaraderie, the running the calls, just being in this job is cool.
Yeah.
But I think that now take it to the junior firefighters who can't wait to promote, who are looking so fast of just like, I want to get off probation so I can be a senior firefighter, right?
Yeah.
Or I want to be an engineer, I want to be a cast. Like, you're going to be tomorrow. You're going to wake up tomorrow and
It's here.
Look in the mirror and see the wrinkled face that I see with the bald head and all the miles and just be like,
that was fast.
I ain't the kid that was yesterday, leaping over tall buildings and thinking he's Superman. It's like, no, dude. It's like yesterday.
Yep.
I mean, and so, in those moments, I think that, it's funny because you say those things and some guys are just like, the fast pace of the fire service, especially in busy houses. It breeds that intensity where the guys just want to like go, 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 go. You know, it's all about the job. They're super hardcore. You know, we got stations, we have the names just like Long Beach and other places. You know, we got the Lion's Den and the places where, yeah, and they're savages. There's some phenomenal firefighters that work in these houses and stuff. Man. But it's not too often that they just sit and kind of, you know, enjoy that. Hey man, having this meal is cool. Playing this stupid card game is cool. You know, it's
for dishes.
No, yeah, for dishes. But I mean, to actually, like you said, just kind of smell that rose and realize, like, man, that stuff goes away quick and it disappears quick. And I think that's all part of that enjoying the journey. Is you know, whatever your particular enjoyment is throughout a shift. It's like marinating that a little bit, man. Soak it in, like breathe it in, enjoy it, like. I was telling you that when I went back, you know, one of the things was the image of my helmet on the dashboard, rolling calls, code 3. And, I mean, I still have that vivid memory, you know, and that's weird because, dude, 20 years of firefighting and I hadn't ever really put that together. I mean, I see pictures, I've seen movies, I read books, but I never put myself in those situations like, yeah, I get to do that too. That's cool. And it's really a neat thing. So I think that if we're able to pass that message on to some of our brothers and sisters and they are able to enjoy the job more, that will improve their happiness at home.
Oh, for sure.
Because now they understand that, you know, when they go home, that job is still there, you know, in a few days. So go home, be present at home, you know, enjoy the journey with your family, with your significant other, you know, stop taking those moments that I'm trying hard with my wife that she likes to do this silly shit, you know, and I'm like trying not to be the grumpy asshole that ruins everything because I got a million reasons why it's going to suck. You know, I mean, we talked about crowds, we talked about, you know, traffic. And, every excuse you could throw out there, but it's like, how about you just get in the car and enjoy, you know, being with another person that you decided to spend your life with.
Dude, your life, honestly, man, I mean, that's hard. And it's not saying that, you know, any of us are like, you know, unhappy or, you know, life is so horrible and we have such a bad job. It's like, no, man, it really is truly slow the heck down.
But there's a lot of noise that tells you that.
Yes.
Right now, in our current world and with the amount of connection we have, I mean, fuck, just by the sheer nature of things like influencers, you're constantly barraged with, hey, your life isn't good enough. Look at me.
Yeah. Yep.
And I can tell you firsthand, dude, living around the world in different random places, a lot of that shit's staged. So don't fool yourself for 1 second that the shit you're watching on Instagram and all these other places, these people have access to things that are definitely cool. Boats, planes, fucking islands, you name it. But that's take 6, take 20, when they're, oh, hey, I'm here in the blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I mean, it's all manufactured, dude.
Yeah.
And for me, that's just like, no thanks, you know? And so I don't let that noise make me feel bad about myself. Like, oh man, I should be doing more. I should go do stuff. I should do this. I should do that. But it's there and it's constant. And if you get sucked down those rabbit holes in your subconscious, I think it's hard to not.
Yeah. Well, even like this, like honestly, man, even like this podcast, dude, I've really worked hard for me personally at enjoying this process. Because even me, I'm like, okay, we got to get this many episodes out. We got to do this. We got to do that. We want to get, you know, this many streams. I want to make sure it's here. I want to make sure it's there. It's like, that's all good stuff. Like, great. Because, you know, when you want to impact people, you know, you got to have goals and you got to, you know, have a vision for yourself to accomplish things. But even us, you know, sitting down here talking, it's like, you know, just to be truthful, it's like, you know, I enjoy these moments. It's huge for me. You know, and it's like, it's therapy for me. It's awesome. I get to hang out with a buddy that, you know, I freaking really respect, you know, on the job and, you know, just from your life. So it's like, I look at that, I've grown from it. And those are things I'm trying to work on. First, okay, we got to get this episode done. Let's get the next episode. I'm like, no, you know, enjoy this talk, dude. You know, you're truly helping people. I'm trying to soak this stuff in as we're building this, you know, and you know, you'll give me text messages, hey man, this person really liked that. And my initial response is like, oh, that's cool. That's good. But then like a few minutes later when I've got, you know, some of those text messages, I'm like, dang, you know what? That's really cool. That's impacting people. Like, that's pretty cool. You know, they can drive down the road. They can, you know, just coming back from, you know, the store a little bit ago, you know, we're talking to, you know, one of your buddies and, hey man, listen to your podcast. That's pretty cool. You know, and it's credible. It's like, that's pretty big. That's huge, man. For other firemen to actually admit that, that's big, dude. And so I'm trying to work on that too. Enjoy the process of building this podcast, whatever the heck it comes out to be. Already from when we started this a month ago to, hey, let's try this, to now, insane results, dude, of who's listening, we love what you guys are doing, and that gives me so much more inspiration to be like, hey man, let's do this topic. Let's enjoy this process. Like, I'm growing, they're growing. This is really going to help not only firemen, firewomen, but families. And we're sitting here talking about our experiences, helping people. Like, I'm really trying to enjoy that, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously, dude.
Yeah.
Like, being honest, it's not easy, because like my brain wants to go, okay, well, we got this podcast, we want to talk about this person talked about that, and I'll still be thinking, 20 steps ahead, So it's just a daily struggle, man, but it's not to not have goals. It's not to say, you're like,
Well, this isn't a fire. And that's really what it comes down to, right? The podcast process is not a structure fire.
yeah, exactly.
But your brain is wired that everything is a structure fire.
Yeah.
So that's why you want to stomp on the gas and
Yes.
get to the finish line right now.
Yeah.
Because that's how we train and we get ingrained in that mode for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
So as a family member, if you're hearing some of the stuff that we're saying and you're like, why does my husband, my wife, hell, if it's your kid, whatever, that the person in your life that works in the emergency services, if you're trying to wrap your head around why do they seem so intense? Why are they foot on the gas? Why? It's like,
Yeah.
well, hey man, just take a peek at like what the daily 48-hour shift is
Yeah.
for the average Joe firefighter, and you'll see, oh, makes sense. Everything is so fast, results driven.
Yep.
And I mean, not only is it life and death at times, but there's a lot of liability, responsibility,
Yeah.
a lot of eyes on you. Phones are out all the time, a lot of political pressure, a lot of bureaucracy. So, there's a lot of external forces, that extra wind that's always pushing that boat around. And so then you get home and that's not a light switch.
Yeah.
And even I really believe that even with the most dialed in, trained person when it comes to knowing your biology and understanding the neuroscience and stuff, I still think that, because I feel it, I feel it when certain stressors are added, the pull of being over aggressive to deal with a situation.
Yeah.
Which was my default.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come at you like a lion.
Mm-hmm.
And if I definitely know there's times in life that's necessary.
For sure.
But it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
really need to go to a 10 all the time.
Yeah.
But it's like everything is a fire. So like the way you just described it, I think it goes back to when we talk about the difference in the SGB shot, just at a biological level. Like, you've done all this work, you're present, you're working hard, but you still, like, when you add the excitement of something, because that's another thing about a structure fire. It's exciting. It's a challenge. It's definitely, it's a puzzle with dire consequences, right?
Yeah.
And so the challenge of something like that is an exciting proposition to tackle.
Yeah.
And when you have that, it especially with firefighters who love the job, we're racing each other to a fire for a reason. We're not slowing down so you can get there first.
Yeah.
Because I don't really want to do this. I'm trying to beat your ass there.
Yeah.
And then we're going to, So the point is,
Exactly.
It's like the same thing goes into your personal life. And so with the podcast, I think it's a great example of how, I think that we're both that way still.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm able to do it, I think, a little different because of the shot, and it allows me to know that this process is going to unfold how it's going to unfold. And I don't see a finish line yet because I don't even know what it looks like.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
Yes.
And I think you still have a little bit of that, like, okay, what's the finish line for the structure fire look like on this podcast?
I do, for sure.
But you're opening up to, like, oh, yeah,
just let it go.
Let's see where this, because you said it before, neither one of us expected the feedback we've gotten this fast from
Not even close.
The amount of people. I mean, I knew that our friends and people that we're close to would, of course, listen to it. And, I mean, well, at least lie to us that they listen to it. But, I've had people, as you have, that I was completely shocked that were even interested to hear this stuff. So
Yep, exactly, man. Because it's a need, man, and, when I came back up here, it's like, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, dude, there's so much we could do, and when you start something like this and you get the feedback you get so fast, you're like, wow, it opened my eyes even more so of like, this is a need. This stuff can't wait. People are striving, like, they're reaching for, like, I needed to hear this. I'm not alone. Like, what did they learn? Like, they just want I can feel it from them, like,
I wonder how much
needed.
of that has to do with, the recent pandemic and just the way that the world was there for, like the better part of 2 years.
Yeah.
Where people felt isolated, scared, divided. You hear it all the time with the constant barrage of negative news.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of that is a contributor to it. I mean, obviously we're not doctors, but our understanding is rooted in the fire service and what that does to us as firefighters, and then how it therefore impacts our families. So I wonder how much of that is part of that too, because it seemed like during that process that because nobody was enjoying that journey.
No.
Right? That was definitely destination happiness. Like, let's get the fuck out of this pandemic.
Yeah.
Right? And move on with our lives.
Yeah.
And then there was so much political bullshit and so many lies and so much deception and so much fraud. And I think that, it created this really negative funk that everybody's kind of stuck in still.
For sure.
That it's a residue.
Yeah.
That I think it's really hard for people to shake off.
Yeah.
And
that's a good analogy, dude. Yeah, for sure.
I wonder. I mean, I don't know. I've seen a lot of it in my little world.
Yeah.
And I wonder about it. And I think, like, if any of this stuff is resonating with someone listening, just ask yourself those questions. Like, do you think the Tesla is going to make you happy? I mean, is that really what you think is going to make you happy?
Yeah.
And if you are honest with yourself, like I was telling you, and you, even the way I explained it to you, my justifications for why I need a Tesla right now, you said that makes sense. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, because I did. I had a very rational thought process on why.
Yeah.
But when you really scale it back, it's like it's not a need.
Yeah.
It's a want.
For sure.
So now it's like, okay, but why do I want it?
Yeah.
Do I want it because there's a subconscious programming there that says next, upgrade, what's better, gimme, keep up with the Jones. Like, I don't really care what the neighbors think, but is it something subconscious? I don't know. I'm trying to be more like aware of those things and see if maybe I'm bullshitting myself. Like, do I need and I'm not gonna buy the fucking Tesla Plaid, go 9,000 miles an hour kind of thing, But at the same time, it's like I was saying before. It's just like the truck I have is just fine. It's a very nice vehicle. Like, do I at this juncture in my life, do I really need to make that swap?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be more aware of that. So when you're looking at your destination, I can tell you firsthand, sailing thousands of miles that I don't remember.
Yeah, it's insane, dude.
Which is, I had some beautiful, beautiful nights and days out on open ocean, seeing stars you can't believe, sunsets, sunrises, animals, whales, dolphins, sea lions, turtles, caught fish. Had no wind and been becalmed for 2 days where I made no progress, out in the center of the Caribbean in like a jewel, right?
Yeah.
And all I could think about was getting to that next spot, and just, and I can't go back.
Yeah.
I can't go back to those days. So it's like, every day is an opportunity to do that. I mean, today we went and did the deprivation tank.
Yeah.
And I think that's, for me, that's an hour, because that hour feels long sometimes.
It does, dude.
It really does.
Yeah.
And even today I felt, it was funny because I think my body's starting to pick up the amount of time that I'm in there. Because my brain started to be like, oh, I think I'm getting close. And then that's when the jet kicked on that indicates that the float time is over.
Yeah.
And it's, but anyways, that's kind of like, the point is, like, that float allows me to just be like, dude, enjoy floating in the Epsom salt, man. You're zero gravity. You're in the womb. You're in this little like weird spaced out spot, and your your brain is in theta waves and all this good stuff. So,
Yeah, for sure. Like when I got up here yesterday, even driving up, it's actually a really nice drive coming where I come from, up here, and in my mind, oh, I got a 3.5 hour drive. I just got to get there, and that drive is done. This time, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna enjoy that drive this time. You know, I'm gonna cruise up there, and I'm gonna stop and grab a drink if I need to. I'm gonna stop and, you know, maybe get off an exit I've never got off before, and just kind of check it out if it looks kind of cool. And I came up, and towards the end of the drive, it was the sunset, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm almost done. Let me power through. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna slow down for a sec.
Nice.
I just slowed down, put some music on, put the windows down. And I'm like, this is a sick sunset right now, and just really enjoyed that moment.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, this is bad. This is awesome, and I'm like, and that changed the rest of the night.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, dude, this is a sweet. I get to go, you know, see my buddy. I'm driving a, you know, for me, I'm fortunate. I have my dream car. I feel like I got a Jeep, and I love what I have, and I get to travel and go, you know, camping, overlanding, rock landing, whatever you want to call that, you know, thing. But I like being in nature. It's like I got this pretty rad vehicle I get to travel in. I get to go do some podcasts with my buddy, and, you know, therapy for myself and us, and help people in the process. That's the main thing. And just enjoy time. And it was just like I really slowed down to enjoy that, you know. And why is that so hard? That's so hard to do, dude. Right? Because it's like it's hard, it's difficult. But when you do, I don't know how you are. I've never regretted it. It always makes the simplest things that much better. And you're just like, dang, this is great. No matter what you're going through, you know, you can just take a little breath, take a step back, and just go in for 3, 4, 5 seconds, let it out 2 or 3 seconds, and just chill for a sec. And it'll just calm you the heck down, hopefully. If not, maybe I do it a few times.
Yeah. No, I think I go back to the brain and just how, like I was saying, I think that those of us that have been in that stuck in the fight or flight where you can't. I mean, you can try.
Yeah.
I did the sauna. I did the tanks. I did this. I did that. I tried it. My wife and I would cruise around the neighborhood in the golf cart. I mean, that was our little routine, handful of times a week, you know. And there's a little spot here, overlook, where you can see the sunset like on the horizon. It's a very cool little vista. And check, what's next? You know, box checked. It wasn't exactly what you just said in the vehicle last night on your way here, where you truly took it in. Yeah. And you did. You said that to me when you arrived.
Yeah.
Dude, your place is awesome, man. Out here is awesome. Did you see that sunset? It was beautiful. You know?
Yeah.
And it's cool because you set the tone like right away. Like, yeah, the drive can suck. I mean, you can't tell me that the south of Fresno on the 99 is nice. You can try. But,
no.
But yeah, man, like that attitude, that gratitude, that intention or intentional appreciation that you are putting out there. It's not hard, but it is because you have to like take advantage of that moment in order to absorb whatever it is. And it's so easy to say, hard to do. Yeah. Because of the noise, because you want to pick up your phone and somebody's texting you and, oh, did I check this email? And what am I going to cook for dinner when I get home? What are we going to do? You know, like I need to hurry up. I've been on the road 4 hours. I got to pee.
Whatever.
I mean,
I'm hungry.
But there's noise. And it's really like, you know, stop and think about it. It's like you control the volume. Yes. You know, so it's only as loud as you allow things to be. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to scroll your email 7 times a day. Yeah. You don't need to check Instagram 30 times a day. Yeah. You know, you can, and if you choose to consciously, like, hey, no worries. I have no judgment about any of it. Yeah. But you're missing that sunset. Exactly. Right? You're not, and that you'll never get that same sunset again. Yeah, exactly. That's gone. Exactly. You know, and
I just totally lost my train of thought. What I was going to say. Well, like with Epsom salt, you said you did some music? Came back, got it.
Well, not today. No, I did a audible audiobook while I was in there today.
So that's what I was.
I'm trying different things.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So when I'm driving, what I've got, like, I'm a musician. I play drums for a band, and if I'm going for a long drive, it's hard for me to not be constantly learning on these drives, or when I'm on the road or whatever. Even if I'm at the gym, it's hard for me to even listen to music now. I'm like, I gotta be learning. What's the new podcast? What's the new mindset? What's the new this? What's the new routine? Blah 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 blah. Right? Because there's just so much stuff out there. Everybody has their opinions, And so what I've done, try to do that. The Epsom salt thing is really good. But even like on the drive yesterday, it's like, you know what? If you're driving, it's okay. It's actually probably really good for you. Have silence.
Oh yeah.
Just turn off the radio, turn stuff off. If you have a family, it's easier said than done. You got the kids, you got the wife. Maybe that's not the time. But the purpose and the intent of it is, if you're by yourself or you have that time, turn that radio off and just drive for silence for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes or whatever, and just be with your thoughts. Because sometimes when you're alone with your thoughts, you may not want to be with them all the time, or your mind's going to be racing or whatever. Or even if you're alone with your thoughts now, you're thinking of 20 things you got to get done. So I'm going to crank that radio back up and escape that. Those are those things you got to be paying attention to of like, I need to slow down. Because you're trying to throw this away for the next thing. Then you throw that away for the next thing. And you're still doing the same thing. Oh, but I'm trying to be silent. Oh, that didn't work, so I did this. It's like, that's the red flag of like, oh, I need to get into my thoughts and slow the heck down right now. That's what I'm trying to portray here of that's the fast pace of the world. It's all good. We got to get stuff done. I'm not saying you can't just be stagnant and always be quiet. We got to get stuff done. But there's that moment to sit back, relax. It can take 2 minutes. It can take 5 minutes, whatever. There doesn't have to be a time frame, but the purpose is you are intentionally slowing down. You are controlling your focus and your brain to focus on where you want it to go. That's hard. Really hard. It's taken me, a few years to finally be like, okay, I feel pretty good about it now, dear. I feel like, okay, if I'm, pretty stressed with stuff, or if, money, or, I'm going to start working at the college. I got, paramedics fees I got to get done in this amount of time. And you got some other shifts I got to get. And I'm like, I've only got this much time. It's like, dude, why am I stressing out? I'm going to get it done.
Right.
It's going to get done. Okay, cool. It'll get done. And if it doesn't, is it going to kill me? No. Maybe something gets pushed back. Okay, fine. It is what it is. But as long as you're walking with intention, walking with focus, and and living your life with purpose, things are going to get done. And yes, family things come in, trauma comes in, and unexpected, things happen in life, and it's going to be okay. And I say that because some bad stuff has happened to me, and it's okay. I've gone through a lot of trauma, from a lot of things, from the job, from my marriage, from Sable committing suicide to childhood trauma to just so many things. It's going to be okay. Tell yourself that. You're putting in the effort. It's going to be all right. And
I think I like the, back to the float, the Epsom salt stuff for anybody that hears that. Just to clarify, that a deprivation tank is essentially kind of it's not new per se. It's starting to, I think, get more trendy.
I never even knew about it until you told me about it, dude.
You never even heard of it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I know, like most guys that listen to Joe Rogan, I get a lot of the stuff because I like a lot of his different guests. Because he's I have the same sort of like inquisitive mind. Like he likes to just meet a lot of cool people, and he's got a lot of varied interests. So I like that. I don't listen to every single one, but I like to pick and choose. And I heard about this. He has one. I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. But I'd never actually pursued doing it until I started doing all this stuff. And you and I talked about it. Like the first float you said today was your second float, and it was like drastically different.
Yeah.
And even though you have the tools, you know how to meditate. Like that first experience was uncomfortable.
For sure.
It was adapting to this new environment, and I think that particular float is very relevant to the destination happiness, because there's kind of no destination. I mean, you're floating around in the dark in space. I mean, so it's 10 inches or so of water in this giant, it looks like an egg.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
An alien pod, if you will, that's in this room that's yours.
Yep.
The door's locked. You have a shower on the wall. You go in there, you strip down, you take a shower, and then you jump in this, like, lukewarm. It's about 90 degrees. A little bit cooler than body temp, but it's warm.
Yeah.
And you get in there, and I mean, you instantly float.
Yeah.
Because they pump in 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt.
Yeah.
And so, for anybody that has ever soaked in Epsom salt, there are benefits to that for ailing muscles and little injuries and nagging things like that. But I mean, you're in this pod, and there's only that, what I said, 8-10 inches of water in there, and you're floating, and you have the option to close the lid, leave it open. The lights are motion censored in the room. So if you're uncomfortable, claustrophobic, you could leave the lid open. You could kind of wave your hand occasionally, and the lights would stay on. There is an LED light within the water itself you can turn on. And then there's the music option. And, you today, I think you selected music, but then you told me when we got out, you chose not to listen to it.
It was too loud. I was like, yeah, I purposely wanted to be in darkness, and I wanted to really work on controlling my racing thoughts.
Nice.
And that was my goal. That was my intent for today's. I was like, you know what?
Nice.
Well, the last time I did what you did, is I put, just some chill, like, spa music on to where relax you, whatever, birds and whatnot. I'm like, no, I want to control my thoughts right now, and I want to. What I worked on today is when I started thinking about the 20 other things that need to get done. I'm just like, come back. I accepted that, and I'm like, let it go, but cruise back with it, and it came right back. It's like you're driving a car. Okay, you know what? Maybe you're swerving off a little bit. Okay, just bring it back. And instead of when do accidents happen? When you overcorrect, right? So I try not to overcorrect, because now you're going to get more racing thoughts. So it's like, you know what? I'm just going to bring it on back, and it corrects. I just came up with that analogy right now. I know I did, but
yeah. No, it's great. That's exactly it. I mean, that's in meditation. That's what they teach is, don't be too harsh, because no one can sit there in perfect stillness with a perfectly clear mind. Breathe and do it all perfect for 20 minutes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some people can, but it's pretty, in our world here, in the fast pace of America and the things that we deal with daily, that's pretty difficult. So I'm the same. I mean, I'm constantly correcting course, just get it back on course. And I did the same thing. I mean, I've been into the floats now a few dozen times, and I've done combinations of all of it so far. I enjoy the silence quite a bit. I enjoy the dark. I'm always dark. I never turn the light on. However, I have started to try, the last probably half a dozen floats, I've done combinations of, I did a podcast one time, which I noticed made the time go by fast, but I don't know if I had the same benefits, because I don't know if my brain was able to sort of chill out in that zero gravity, because I think it was stimulated by the content.
Yeah.
And then, so then I did music, which definitely was more chill.
Mm-hmm.
Today was the first time I've done an audiobook.
Okay.
And I fell asleep. I think you and I talked afterwards, because after we get out of the pod, we do oxygen. They have a nasal cannula. Of course, they got to flavor it so that they can make it seem cool.
Yeah.
But you put that on for 10 minutes, and you can feel the difference when you're breathing in pure oxygen. And so we sat there for 10 minutes and we talked, and you said you fell asleep. I fell asleep. And we both had weird dreams, it sounded like. Because I had this jolt awake where I had this sensation of falling. And I don't know if it was the zero gravity thing or what, but it was interesting. But so I don't know if I'll do an audiobook in the future, because I just kind of
too much stimulation, maybe.
Well, I think the particular book I was listening to, the voice was just so monotone that it was almost hypnotic, where I fell asleep.
Oh, okay.
And so, I mean, not that falling asleep's a bad thing in there, but I think for me, that being awake in the dark with something that isn't stimulating my mind, and me having to keep that car in the lane is better for me in the long run. Mm-hmm. Because when we walked out of there today, I felt good. I mean, I feel good right now. But it wasn't quite the same as other times. Got it. I think it's just a trial and error thing for everybody.
For sure.
And I mean, it's there's only been one time that I remember where I didn't make it to the destination. I 40 minutes, and I was just, I don't know why, but I was like, dude, I'm done. I can't keep the fucking car in the lane. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll pull over, take a nap. For whatever reason, I don't know. It wasn't particularly there was no situation that caused me to feel it wasn't like I'd had some stressful event during the day.
It was one of those days, dude.
It was just one of those days.
It is what it is.
Head wasn't in the game, and I I laid there and I'm like, why? I'm checking the box and I'm like, you know what? I refuse because I know I can. I can always push through.
Yeah.
I can always, suffer through the last 10 minutes of the sauna. I can do those things.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those like, do I need to? And I think that's the thing is I'm kind of trusting my instincts now where it's like instead of pushing through it and like, yeah, no, you have to because if you don't, like the world will fall apart.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's that dire consequence of the structure fire.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's not. So I think about it and I'm like, can I just push through this moment and then I'm fine? Or is my body telling me like, dude, you're done for the day, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, am I going to listen? And then, am I going to be okay with that? So I've been able to do that more where I'm not so driven to get to the finish line.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's still there. It's still there for sure. And then I don't beat the hell out of myself later. Like you failure, you quitter, you sissy, you this, you that, which is, in the past, I definitely would have done stuff like that, I mean, shit, I'd have jumped back in and done it again, right? Like, just prove, like, oh, hold my beer, watch this.
Yeah.
And that's not a good mentality because
It's, there's, I think we all know about Dr. Huberman, but he's, I really respect his work and, with a lot of the stuff, science-based stuff I've been through with the program I was with some, trauma doctors and science-based therapy and the RAND study and so many things I got to go through, and then I see this stuff on social media and Dr. Huberman, he threw something up on his Instagram the other day and exactly what you said, we definitely cannot beat ourselves up. That will not help you progress, right? What does though, even if you tell somebody good job, that doesn't help you progress. If you tell someone, you put a lot of, I really like the effort you put in, keep up that hard work and keep that effort going, that's what rewires the brain, not the good job. And I heard that, I was like, that's so true. I'm like, wow. Okay, so it's like, it's not saying, oh, you're horrible, you're a failure, that doesn't work. Even saying good job doesn't work. It's saying the effort you put in, the way you talk to your brain, that's how you continue to make effort. So you put destination happiness, it's like, okay, cool. You reach this destination, strong effort, man. Hell yeah. Enjoy that. Cool. Now, now we're going to put some effort maybe into this path now. Cool. You're going to reach that too. That's just a really healthy way to talk to yourself. And there's more and more studies coming out about self-talk. And as I'm talking about this, dude, I would have never thought I'd be so into meditation, journaling, self-talk. Oh, effort versus good job versus you're a failure. But dude, all this is stuff I was never taught. Yeah. I think a lot of us are not taught this stuff. And so these are the things that I really
it's all cutting edge, right? I mean, that's the crazy part. These are things that, like Andrew Huberman, the guy you're talking about, for anybody who doesn't know, great podcast, the Huberman Lab.
Yeah, he worked for Stanford, and he does stuff for free.
By all means, look it up. You'll probably stop listening to us if you find Huberman.
Yeah.
He actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the stuff that he researches, puts out, talks about, guests he interviews. I mean, it's amazing stuff. And but nobody, I mean, our parents certainly didn't even know this stuff, and all that. As we progressed into the fire service, none of this is in the training manuals. This isn't part of policies or SOGs or SOPs or any of that and stuff. So, you think about, we kind of tied into a lot of our conversations from before about things like vulnerability. And we talked about the rookies and making the rookies feel like they can be vulnerable with you. Like, hey, I can screw up in front of senior firefighter Eric or Captain Shane, and they're not going to crucify me.
Yeah, they have a place.
They're not going to fire me.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to help me. They're going to pick me up. They're going to dust me off. They're going to teach me, and it's very much that relationship like a big brother or big sister, that familial bond you're supposed to create, and it's, I mean, you can't throw your kids away, right? If you have kids and they screw up, you can't just be like, cool, I'm going to drop you off at the adoption center, see you later.
Yeah.
I mean, you could.
Well, some do. And you see it here in Fresno quite a bit, but with babies,
in most people, right, that's not even on the table. So why are we so disposable, within the fire service itself? Why do we create that culture that does that? And a lot of it has to do with this all or nothing thinking, which is the destination happiness of like, if I don't reach the destination, I can't be happy. when I reach the destination, that's the only way I can be happy, right?
Yep.
When I accomplish the task, when I promote to X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And that is something we have to break that in the patterns, and especially in the younger people now, so that they don't. So they can enjoy 30 years instead of just surviving 30 years.
Yes.
And then racing to retirement only to look back and be like, that was a really great time in my life, and I missed out on a lot of it because I was ruled by fear.
Yeah.
You know, and these themes just, they run in and out of all these topics. I mean, it's all interconnected.
I mean, I can look at myself, man, and once I, now that I'm going to be going up to the college or whatnot, I'm like, wow, it's almost 20 years. I'm like, I can't even, I feel like Academy was yesterday, dude. And I'm like, wow, there was lives saved. I'm a paramedic. It's a fireman. I worked in a pretty cool department. And I'm just processing that stuff, and it's years later, because when you're in it, you're just so fast-paced, and you're not paying attention to what the heck is going on. You're just trying to get through probation. You're trying to get through the calls. You're trying to get through those, for a lot of us, you're trying to get through, those nightmares maybe you get from calls or whatever it might be, and you're not really processing, like, this is pretty sick. This is a rad job, and why, what we get to do, who we get to help, the fulfillment that comes from saving a life. Even if you're not saving a life, just go. We make fun of it, the dog and pony show, right? Because we're so busy doing other stuff. But it's the thing, that I'm not working anymore. I took for granted. It's like, going to a school and reading a book to a kid. They are so stoked to see you, man. They're so stoked to go look at the rig, and they're just, the teacher, this is so cool. The fire, how many stories do you hear? The fireman came to the school today. We got to see the truck and the engine, and, they're calling, the engine, the truck. They don't know the differences, right? So, a little education here and there, but those are huge moments, and it's like, those kids will not forget. That's sometimes what inspires them to become a fireman, to become, a first responder of some sort, because of that day we go to the schools. And those are things that I'm like, wow, that's a big deal for these kids. Like, they won't forget, but I took it for granted. It's like, man, I got no sleep last night, training this morning, had this fire, and I had to go read books for a kid. It's like, dude, no, we don't want to do this. Dude.
Oh, you mean you weren't stoked when Cap told you that, right? And you were like, oh,
yeah,
right on,
dude.
we get to go do this. And
yeah.
But now you're looking back,
yeah,
and you miss it.
Of course.
And that's exactly the point of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful example of a very small bump and blip on the radar of a career.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with emergency response. It has nothing to do with the blood and guts. It has to do with, like, little kids. You don't even remember their faces, the names, the locations, but you know that it meant so much to them in that moment.
Yep.
And now you're like, dude, I could have enjoyed it, and I think that's a great example, because I like working with people who, when I say, hey, we're going to go do this, they understand and they actually get excited, and then they really pour themselves into it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because most firemen are a pain in the ass in the firehouse about it.
Yeah.
And then they turn into little big babies when you get there, because when there's
That's
a bunch
so
of 5 and 6 year olds, you can't help but laugh. They're covered with snot.
Yep.
They want to tell you that they saw a fire truck yesterday. Their mom called 911 one time. I mean, you get 1,000 stupid questions, but you can't help but smile.
For sure.
It's pretty rare you get there and the guys are assholes.
Exactly.
So it's funny breaking the guys out of that tough guy shit, but but that's exactly it. Back to, like, okay, we're there. Let's just get out of here so we can go get our breakfast burrito and get back and take a nap. And it's just like, and I'm all for those things. It's important, but
for sure.
Yeah, dude. It's also like, hey, soak it up, man. Like, spend that extra 20, 30 minutes, leave that impression, add value to everything you're doing.
Yep.
And then, be able to look back fondly, like you would now, when you don't have that, it would be nice to look back and be like, man, I really gave my all at this little mundane blip on the radar. Really, at the end of the day, didn't affect you or your life or the outcome of your life or anything, but you could have made it a better experience. Yeah. And that's
for sure.
I think that's a great example for anybody that is currently still doing this stuff. It's like, dude, drink it in, man. Like, really enjoy it each day. Like, you really, it's an opportunity to have some fun, you know, and just, you know, like you said, be grateful. Wake up with that gratitude of, hell yeah, I'm fortunate to be able to be healthy enough to do something like this.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I got my partner right now that's, God, man, he works with me in training. He's got terminal cancer. You know, he's still a captain.
Insane.
And one of the most experienced guys on the job. I mean, he's probably vented more roofs than any fireman I know. Like, legitimately, I'd argue that he's been on 500 or better, you know, roof jobs. Maybe probably more. I don't even know. I mean, it's just the guy's, you know, 20 going on 30 years. I think he's 27 years in the job and almost 28. But dude, he's looking down the barrel of 3 years.
Yeah.
Not retirement, but death.
Yeah.
Like he said, yeah, if I can make it 3 more. I mean, and he talks about it nonchalantly, and he's got a great perspective, and he's fighting like hell, and it's just been. I mean, I can't even imagine what him and his family have gone through, but he shows up and he wants to work, he wants to help, he wants to add value every day. He has so much experience, so much to give still, and you know, and that is the stuff where it's like, you know, he's squeezing the juice out every day that he can.
Yeah.
You know, even knows when he's going to feel like shit from chemo. You know, still has a sense of humor. So I've been fortunate. I've only been working alongside him for about 3 weeks now, but that's definitely kept me humble. About I'll take my problems.
Yeah.
Yep,
for sure.
I'll gratefully accept all the problems I have right now,
Yeah.
and say thank you and just deal with them. You know.
Yeah.
So because somebody's always got it worse.
Yep, it's so true, dude. Someone always has it worse, man, and that's perspective, dude. Once again, that's slowing down, and that's getting perspective. That's knowing that, you know, it's not just about us all the time. We're gonna go through what we go through. We're gonna have our challenges. We're gonna have our, you know, our lows. We're gonna have our highs. But it's like, you know, I think if we look at our situations of, you know what we're talking about destination happiness, about I'll be happy when the retirement, I'll be happy when this is away, or I'll be happy when, you know, when, whatever. But be happy now. You know, happiness is your choice. And it's sad to say, because our brains, we talked about this, but our brains aren't meant right now to keep us happy. They're meant for us to survive. So when we understand that basic concept of we are meant to survive, our brains will naturally, even if everything's going right, it's going to look for a problem to fix. So that's if have the money, have the marriage, have the job, have all the stuff, all those boxes are checked, right? It's still going to look for, if nothing's going on, it's still going to look for, okay, what needs to be done? I'm trying to survive. What am I going to fix? And we're creatures, man. Yep. You know, and so when you understand those basic concepts, it's like, okay, well, you know, that's where, like, you got to control, like the car, we got to control our focus where we want it to go, because god dang, it will be easy for that focus to go way in left field, and then now you're creating problems that do not need to be there. How many times do we see that?
Every day, every shift. And that's, I'm smiling because I say this all the time to guys about, like, you know, lions have to eat. I always say lions got to eat. And it's like firefighters. You got these people who are highly trained, you know, men and women who, you know, 20, 30 years of constant training, constant improvement, you know, really talented, really educated individuals that are highly capable of handling pretty much anything. And, you know, it's kind of like, but they don't have anything to eat. They don't, you know, so it's like lions want to eat. Well, when there's nothing to eat, they're going to eat each other. Yeah. Right? So it's kind of, it's the Navy SEAL that can't go to war because there's no one to fight. So all this training that they do, and they're like the epitome of this warrior with nothing to do. And it's like, that's not a good thing for the human brain. To be this, like, finely tuned instrument, but never get played.
Can't be used.
Right. Yeah. So I say that all the time. And if you want proof, take a look at, like, slow stations where the shift wars.
Yep.
Because you touched my peanut butter.
Yeah. It's so true, dude.
You know, I don't fucking like Pretty Boy Eric on the B shift.
Yep.
Because I know he took some of my coffee creamer and he threw out my salad dressing. He didn't ask me.
It's so true.
It's the dumbest shit, dude. And these are like, these are savages that were great firefighters in busy houses because they had something to fight.
Yep.
So they didn't have the energy to burn to worry about that you stole my honey or whatever dumbest shit is,
Yeah.
And so I laugh about that stuff all the time because you can see it. And it happens in busy houses too. I'll never forget being a young kid. And me and my best friend that at the time we were going to throw down. And I don't even remember what it was about. But, I mean, we were literally like almost a fist.
Yeah.
And it was some stupid macho, young, dumb bullshit thing that, we were just being idiots. And the captain, my favorite captain, walks by. He says, "What the fuck is going on?" Someone killed this guy. That's what's going on. He needs his ass whooped. And
all right, take it outside, man. I don't want to see it.
No. He gets his smile and he goes, "We need a fire bad."
Yeah.
And I,
hell yeah.
I'm 25,
dude.
but I'm, it didn't hit me. I'm like, no, he needs his ass whooped is what he needs. But this captain, been around, he liked the young lions that we were because that's what you want. Young firemen is piss and vinegar and being psychos and all that shit.
Yeah. That's part of that journey too, dude. You need to live that out.
Absolutely.
For sure. You know, we're talking about, slow down. It's like, no, man.
Yeah.
That's part of your journey. Live that out. Enjoy that, freaking suck all that up and go to as many, hell yeah.
Be a young lion.
Yes.
I say it all the time. Like, I love
it.
Watching the young guys and girls come on, and it's just like, man, just enjoy it. Be a savage right now.
Yep. Heck yeah.
But he was right. I mean, 3 o'clock in the morning, we had a fire. We were on a ladder truck at the time, and me and my buddy, we cut a hole, and we were back down on the ground behind the ladder and cleaning the saw. And now we're besties again. We're high-fiving and ass-slapping and talking about how bitching we were because we were just up there, and and look at that hole, admiring our work. And the captain walks by and gets this little grin and just says, "Told you," and it was fuck. And dude, that stuck with me 20 years later. I can still tell that story very vividly because that lesson that was learned in that is like, lions want to eat. Like, we needed a fire because we needed to reconnect our bond. Mm-hmm. And then it was funny because we went back later and I looked and we hadn't had a fire for like 3 months, which was pretty
that's probably pretty rare.
Unusual in this department. Mm-hmm. And especially because I've worked at Threes the majority of my career, and that's our busy house downtown. And we were on ladder 3, and at the time it was called truck 3, but it wasn't normal to go 2 shifts without a fire. And we'd been like 3 months and we hadn't had a legit burner.
Yeah.
And looking back, it was like, man, that's wild.
It's a morale booster, dude.
And I still see it. I see it now as a captain. Oh, yeah. I see it through his eyes, where I see the young guys starting to get after each other. That fucking B shift left this out. This rookie sucks. This station school. I mean, it's just like, time out. Okay, let's go smash something. Let's go,
for sure.
Let's go throw ladders to a building. Let's go.
Yep.
It's time
dude.
Time to enjoy the journey again and put that training to use.
Yeah, so. And that's good leadership, though, man. That's good leadership, dude, because that's what that creates. Crew continuity and camaraderie, and you get those fires. You have morale, and hopefully, you're with a crew that you respect, and it does bring that crew continuity back together and the morale, and you learn more about each other. You create a better bond or whatnot, and grow. But I mean, I think that was just the purpose of the podcast, was enjoy the process, whatever it is you're going through. If it's bad stuff, or really challenging things, I feel like unforeseen things will happen, but wherever you're at in life right now, I feel like is where you need to be. Even if some bad things have happened to you, depending how you're dealing with it, depending what your mindset is, there's always something to learn from it. And I can just look at my situation personally. I don't know what anybody else is dealing with, but whatever we're going through is where we should be to be learning the most about ourselves and growing and looking at the current challenge, you're going through or someone else is going through. How can we help them, or how can we help ourselves? I feel like that's where we're supposed to be in life right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No.
So
it's a great perspective. I mean, I like this topic because you got me thinking in the last podcast when you said that, and it was just one of those realize that when you hit the finish line, you're gonna have that lull. There's gonna be that kind of like, fuck, what's next? And that's okay. Just kind of drink it in, find out what's next, and then go after it. Mm-hmm. Whether it's an intense day full of appointments and work and kids and chaos, or if it's just hey, I'm going to chill on the couch all day kind of thing. Like, each day, as you said before, right? Be thankful for each day. It's a gift. It's you're still breathing. Life's good.
Yep.
We're fortunate. If you're hearing this, then you're probably better off than the majority of the world, which because you've got a AirPod in your ear or a Bluetooth in your car. You're playing this on your iPhone. I mean, you've got all this cool stuff that 90+% of the world, I imagine, probably doesn't have access to.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, be thankful for that. For even if you've got a bunch of shit on your plate right now, and you're not staring down the barrel of terminal cancer.
Yeah.
And other things that a lot of our brothers and sisters in our families are dealing with. So
yeah,
I think I think that's an infinite problem. It's one of those gonna be forever.
Yeah.
Try really hard to enjoy every moment. It's not always gonna be perfect, but as long as you're trying, man.
That's all. Yeah. I feel as long as you're putting forth that effort, that's truly what matters. And what I try to do. There are days for it, but something I can recommend, for the destination happiness and whatnot is just challenge yourself every day with something. Try to do one uncomfortable thing a day, because that keeps you. I feel like keeps you in the moment too, and then you're not just looking at the end goal, but you're also challenging something out of the box. If you're only taking warm showers, try taking a cold shower for the day. If you are just in the same routine of driving this way to work, pick a different route to work. If you typically pick up your phone and scroll something, maybe you don't that morning, you do something else. It's like whatever that challenge or uncomfortability is to you, just pick something. And that will help you enjoy that journey more through that day, because you're like, wow, your brain, you will look back and be like, I typically do this, but I did this instead. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, cool. Go to the next thing. But it's like, just try to switch that up a little bit if you can, because we're so wired on those routines of whatever it may be. But
what's it? I mean, you're shaking it up, and that's the deal. It's like most people probably get through their Monday through Friday, don't even remember what 3/4 of their week look like.
Yeah.
Because it's cruise control.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so what you're telling people is to take it off cruise control.
Yeah.
Put your hands on the wheel. Take a different route. Metaphorically, do something different that, will give you a memory that will make that day unique. It will make that day stand out.
Yep.
And even if it's Tuesday, okay, cool. Don't race to Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that weekend isn't going to make you happy.
Exactly.
Because Monday's coming again.
Exactly.
So, it's just, and enjoy every day, man.
Yeah.
Be grateful for it.
That's it, dude.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, hope you guys liked this one, and we end it like we always do. You can reach me at epadgettcoaching@gmail.com. Shane is
ricfirecaptain@gmail.com.
Cool. And then go ahead, leave comments, questions, and rate us if you guys can. We'll see you guys on the next one.